Hi there, so with everyone stuck indoors on lockdown, I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing this afternoon, which is I'm knocking up a lovely roast dinner for the family, and it's really easy, and if you don't know how to do it, I'll try and show you what I do, see if you fancy doing it yourself. So first thing I do is get all the veg prepped, so got potatoes, just chop them, already done them to be fair, but just for effect, chuck them in a pan full of water and get ready to parboil them. Make sure you rinse them off, chuck them back in the pan, fill it with water and parboil them. And then go to the fridge and get the rest of the veg. So that's the potatoes done, and I'm just going to chop up some veg to roast. We're having sweet potato and carrots. No need to peel them. Sweet potatoes, chop the ends off, chop it in half again. Eventually chuck it in the pan. Same for the carrots, don't need to peel them, chop the ends off. And I just chop them in half, because they're going to be roasted for quite a long time. You don't want to go shriveled up and burnt, which, to be fair, is normally what happens to me. But hopefully not today. That's it. Chuck them in a pan. Once you've done it all, put them in the fridge, and we can move on to making Yorkshire pudding batter. So, Yorkshire puddings. I suppose most people would probably just go for the Aunt Bessie's ones out of the freezer at the supermarket. Well, if you can't get them at the minute, because there's a shortage of frozen food, really, really easy to make your own. All you have to do, very simply, 115 grams of plain flour, 200 mils of milk and water, split it equally if you like, 3 eggs. Really, really simple. You take your flour, dump it in your bowl, make a little well with your finger, make sure you've got a clean finger, break your eggs into the well, and these will come up really, really light, fluffy, be absolutely massive, and you'll be the envy of all your friends. Absolutely promise. Right, so you get your fork. Don't need anything more complicated than a fork, no whisks, no hand whisks, no nothing. Mix it all together so you get yourself a basic batter, so your eggs are all in there, and it's sort of gone a bit sort of sticky and almost the consistency of where you're making something like bread or something like that, I guess. Not that much of a baker, it's about the limit of my baking ability. Just get all that mixed in there together. So when it looks a bit like that, just start adding the liquid, the milk and water, just mix them together. Just add it a little bit at a time though, don't go mad, just a little bit at a time. So you get a nice smooth batter. Nice spraying this everywhere. Laura's going to be well happy, she's just cleaned the kitchen. Never mind. Just keep adding the liquid to get a nice smooth batter. Just gradually add it, don't whack it all in at once, because you'll end up with well, just lumps, and you don't really want that, not really. That's it, chuck it in, see, nothing more complicated than a fork, just stir it around, scrape all your flour and bits and pieces off the side of it, make sure you've got a good mix, and then chuck it in the fridge for later. Right, so while I've been prepping the veg and the oven's been coming up to temperature and I've done the Yorkshire pudding batter mix, this fantastic bit of beef I got from Christian Albert's Traditional Butchers in Hungerford High Street, that's been here, coming up to room temperature. Important to get up to room temperature or you won't get the desired consistency when it's finished cooking. So if you're going for a medium, you'll end up with rare, and if you're going for well done, you'll end up with medium, that type of thing. So all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to stick some oil on it. I'm going to put a bit of salt on it, season it really well, and I'm going to put some rosemary with it. Put some foil on it. I'm going to stick it in the oven for 25 minutes per 450 grams, plus 25 minutes, because we like this medium. If you want it well done, it's 30 minutes per 450 grams, plus 30 minutes. If you like it rare, it's 20 minutes per 450 grams and 20 minutes. Okay, great. Right, so yeah, here we go. Just going to stick some oil on there, go all over it. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Some salt on there, season it really well, and then some sprigs of rosemary. I'm just going to stick them in it, so the flavour goes right the way through the beef. This really will make a difference and make the beef really taste absolutely fantastic. So just chuck that in there. A bit more. So rosemary out of our garden, by the way. You've got a rosemary bush in our garden. It's got absolutely mental. It's massive. It's more like a rosemary tree, really. So I'm going to cover this up with some foil like that, and I'm going to stick it in the oven, and I'm going to have a beer. Cheers. So while the beef's in the oven, what I'm going to do is I'm going to parboil my roast potatoes. So I'm going to parboil them for about 10 minutes, and that means when they go in the oven, when they come out, they'll come out all sort of light and fluffy and crispy on the outside, which is what you want from a roast potato. So that's what I'm going to do. Sorry, totally forgot to mention the oven, 180 degrees. So yeah, the potatoes have been parboiling for about 10 minutes, and as you can see, they're all fluffy, lots of bits all over them, which is good because they'll go really crispy when you put them in the oven. And then you can just basically stick them back on the saucepan until you're ready to put them in the oven. So the beef's been in for about 45 minutes, I guess. So at about half an hour to go, I'm just going to take the foil off and chuck that away. Give it a little baste, put it back in the oven. So once I put the beef back in the oven, what I like to do is get my Yorkshire pudding ready, really. So muffin tin makes nice big Yorkshire puddings. It's great. The batter mix I made earlier makes about 6 great big Yorkshire puddings. Put like a small spoon's worth of oil in each pot. And I'm just going to whack that in the oven to let it get nice and hot. So the hotter you get the oil, the better result you get on your Yorkshire puddings. So now the beef's got about 15 minutes left to go. We're going to get the roast veg on. They need about 45-50 minutes, and obviously you can have a bit of overlap because your beef needs to rest once it comes out of the oven. About 20 minutes, half an hour I normally give it. It doesn't really matter, it will stay hot. It's no problem. And you can get on with doing everything else. So what I'm going to do with the veg is I'm just going to pour some oil over, olive oil in this case. I mean, you can use anything you like. You know, goose fat's good, isn't it? But we tend to use olive oil. Bit of salt. 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. That is a clove. That is a bulb. Don't get them confused. Chuck them in, and some more rosemary from the garden. Asked the kids to go and get me some rosemary from the garden. They came back with half the aforementioned tree that I mentioned earlier. Put it all in there. Get your potatoes that you parboiled earlier. Whack them in there with your veg. You get all the bits out because they go really crispy. Give it a shake. Get plenty of oil on it. Garlic all over everything, rosemary all over everything. Lost a bit of sweet potato there. And that goes in the oven for, say, 45-50 minutes. So while I'm waiting for the beef and everything else that's in the oven, I'm just going to get the other veg ready. So we've got one of our kids won't eat roast potatoes, neither of them will eat roast potatoes, but one does eat mashed potatoes. So I've got this mashed potato. Basically peel the potatoes, chop them up, nice and thin slices so you don't get lumps. Nobody wants lumpy mashed potato. Chuck them in a pan, and then obviously you've got some broccoli, which I'm going to wash as well. So I'm just going to chop up the broccoli, pop that in a pan. They all eat broccoli, which is good. It's really good for you. So I'm just going to chuck all that in a pan and then wash it off and boil it as we get towards the end of the do. So now for the all-important Yorkshire puddings. They need to go in the oven, and trust me, no matter how good your roast potatoes are, no matter how tasty your roast beef is, or your chicken, or whatever your meat is, you are going to be judged on the quality and the height of your Yorkshire puddings. So this is important. Right, so basically get your batter mix that you made earlier. Give it a final stir, just get all any flour that's on the bottom there that's sunk while you put it in the fridge. Just get it out, let it rest there for a little bit. Get a little bit of salt. Stir a little squeeze in there, not loads, just a little bit, just give it a little bit of taste. Then get the oil out of the oven. You've already had in there, get it nice and warm, nice and hot. Hotter the oil, better the pudding. Okay, so this batter mix makes 6. So pour them in equally. Good sizzle there, nice hot oil. Lovely. Get it in there. Try to spill it, makes out of a mess. We already have got a good sit on these. These are going to be epic Yorkshire puddings. So what I like to do in my Yorkshire puddings is I like to put a little bit of sage on top. Try to avoid the 2 you're going to give to the kids because they'll go, green stuff, I'm not eating that. What's that about? Anyways, then these go in the oven for about 35-40 minutes, and they'll be really high, really light, really fluffy, and you'll be the envy of all your friends. While the Yorkshire puddings are in the oven, it's a good idea to keep the kids quiet. Just tell them if they make a load of noise, Yorkshire puddings won't rise and they'll be rubbish. Keep them quiet, it's brilliant. And of course, do not be tempted to open the oven door while your Yorkshire puddings are in the oven. Don't let the heat out. Let the heat out, they will sink and you'll have flat Yorkshire puddings. Right, so now it's time to get the beef out. Get it out of the oven and put it on a plate, like so. There we go. Cover it in foil, put it somewhere relatively warm, let it rest for a bit, and that will absorb all the juices. When you carve it, it'll be really nice and lovely. With about 15 minutes to go till Yorkshire puddings, your roast potatoes come out. It's time to get your green veg and the potatoes for mashing. Get them on the hob, start them cooking. Right, so now everything's ready. It's time to dish up with the help of my glamorous assistant. So you may have noticed I didn't keep any of the beef juices to make gravy. That's because I'm very lazy and this is an easy roast dinner. So I'm using Tesco beef gravy granules. And there we go. Roast dinner for 4 people. Yeah.